fan. So he doesn't have a say of whether he's the best or not. Other people decide. But going back into the draft where Echo, they have gotten the Fredrin as well as the Harif. As of now, not a lot of room for flex. Sure, the Fredrin can be flexed, but for now, Echo, I would say kind of a lineup that we've been seeing a lot.
And the Harith here, we've seen that it's very effective in the right situations, right? Mobility and survivability from the kit. But honestly, against a lot of beefy members, it does seem like it does lack that hyper DPS in that late game. Although for Blacklist, this is a very quite the early Diggy pick, and we haven't seen it in quite a while.
Yeah, okay, so right now, looking at the draft, because we have to look at the first 3 picks for both teams, because from Echo, they have a pretty strong front to back with the Eve as well as the Fredrin. Putting people in the box make it easy for Harif to actually engage and go in. Now, Blacklist International, they're answering the first 3 picks with a Diggy. Now, we got to think about this. Is the Diggy being used to apply pressure early in the gold lane, or is it really to make sure when it comes to the team fights, the team is going to be safe?
Yes, and they are going to go for a re-engage lineup. And what does a re-engage lineup hate? When they don't control when they go in or out, and that's why they're banning the Franco.
Ooh, Franco ban right here just to ensure that Blacklist can take their fights on their own terms, and of course deny maybe like the forced usage of the time journey. So far, it just seems like a very solid composition, and if they pair it with a solid backline, it's going to be pretty secure, at least on paper. But considering that they have a Claude in their lineup, it's going to be a bit weird deciding where the team as a whole wants to move, right? Do they want to go forward into danger or actually backing away from it?
This is kind of good because they're going to keep Echo guessing, and I feel like the Diggy pick has confidence here just because you see the Fredrin and you're assuming the Fredrin is a jungle, because as a Diggy you can apply a lot of pressure by putting your alarm bombs. It doesn't feel good going up against like an assassin jungler that can kill the Diggy over and over and over again, making the Diggy really not that strong. And because the Valentina has been banned, the Grok has been banned as well, kind of feeling like they don't want too much of an engage coming in from Echo.
And by that, the Orcas are slowly cornering Wise into a pick of their choosing, right? Well, what's left here for Wise to pick up? Because the usual suspects are out. If anything, they might be forcing the jungle Guinevere, which we last saw in the grand final stage of MPL.
A lot of options, honestly. Even if we go back, the Nakai is still available, the Boxia is still available, so there is a lot. Good or bad is really up for debate.
Exactly, especially with how the meta has progressed, you can't really guarantee that these picks that worked quite a long while ago can still be as effective. Because maybe the exact reason why it hasn't been picked up is because teams have been solving that puzzle already. But here we go, got a bit of a sneak peek from the phone. It's going to be a Boxia, and that's going to be a very fast composition coming in from the side of Blacklist.
That's a deep cut, right? I said go back to MPL Philippines Season 10, and then we will go back to like what, Season 8?
It's almost like I'm an analyst.
Whoa.
Like I know what's going to happen. But yeah, the Diarov has been picked up, so now Blacklist International, they got to really prepare what's going to happen, because with the Diarov, a lot of the armor that they already have is going to be shredded. So Echo, with this current lineup, if they want, they could really go aggressive. They could just like pick up a Cho and then just like, I don't care what you guys are going to do. We're just going to force the issue.
You either pop the times journey now or you suffer the consequences. I like it. It's a proactive way of solving the problem.
That's certainly a way to deal with the time journey. Just force them to keep using it. And now I think they were expecting perhaps something, I don't know, they wanted to just pressure you in the jungle. So the Hilda, that's a very annoying pick. And, you know, considering how fast and how pick-orientated Blacklist composition is right now, having a Hilda in the front is going to be such a chore for Blacklist to deal with.
It's also a swerve. And now going into the hands of Haji, of course, this is the Imam special. That's a savior. So far, I'm liking it. If there's anything missing from Blacklist is that early game velocity. Like, they're going to have to wait until Echo makes a mistake and makes an opening, and then they can ramp up.
I mean, like you said, looking at the drive, looks like Blacklist, they want to re-engage. And I kind of feel like if your comp scales well and you have ways to answer a dive, that is a very good drive, because looking at Echo, that's what they want to do. Sasage, they want to charge, they want to fight, and they want to make sure they apply enough pressure to Blacklist International. So now with the draft, where both teams, in terms of team fight, they're pretty solid. In terms of what they want to do is very different. So about the execution, can Echo execute it well, or Blacklist deny the engages?
it just seems like this is a speed against power, because Blacklist will be around the map really, really quick. Again, with that Boxia, with the fast clearing, with the shield unity. But for Echo right here, when they want to go for a kill, that's a lot of burst damage at their disposal.
With that being said, let's start the first game between Echo and Blacklist International.
All the way in the beginning, we do see that the Demon Slayer emblem is what both junglers try and go for. They want to get that quick clear in the early game particularly, and in that mid lane, there's going to be a bit of a showdown for sure. Both of these mages, they have like decent clear, but as far as how they impact the side lanes, it's a bit different, right? They need to try and get a bit of help, especially from the jungler or the roamer, before they can actually have that kind of impact.
Yep, slight advantage here for Sanji, given that Haji has to work on his stacks, has to make sure that the Savior scales up. But down bottom, it looks like it's a deadlock because both are able to clear the wave fast enough and then rotate.
We got to talk about the goal lane as well. So the Diggy is going to apply pressure here onto the Harif. So Yaoi, I want to see whether he decides to help out Manicutie in the goal lane, or he's going to try to apply pressure in the jungle, which kind of doesn't need to, because going up against the Boxia, like, why?
Exactly. Usually the Hilda is being used against assassins just to be that oppressive presence, especially in the early game where the passive is just so annoying to deal with. But now, it seems like Echo is using Yaoi on the Hilda to actually deal with the Diggy pressure, because that shielding is casting all the damage. But look at Oheb, taken very, very low.
Close call. Oheb at about 1/10 of his health. Here comes Wise, bumping right into Yaoi. Oh my Venus, looking for that reverse time, does not catch it.
Right now, I'm looking at this, and it does look like Echo, they're trying to find the angles, the way that they can start the early aggression. So I want to see if they apply more pressure onto Oheb, because again, as a Claude, before level 4, you don't have a lot of way to clear the minions, so it's very, very punishing to die at like, what, level 3?
Yeah, the wave clear is definitely a big issue, especially against a Diggy that's just constantly trying to actually do some damage, do some poke damage. But with all the members, with 4 at least, 4 people in total in the top side, it doesn't seem like Echo is going for the turtle, but Blacklist is trying to contest it.
Yep, Wise looking for it. Sanford spots him. There's the box by Sanji. Real revelation. Turtle scared by Carl, and Sanji takes down Wise.
When we look at this lineup, this is what we were predicting Echo. They're gonna start the charge. They're the one that is gonna say, I'm gonna have tempo. And Blacklist, they gotta answer this by not dying a lot. And now Rashi, looking at the items, anything that we have to pay attention to.
It does seem like Sanji is going straight for the Enchanted Talisman. With how he's performing, he's going to be using a lot of mana, so it makes a lot of sense. Later on, there'll be a bit more damage being built on his side, but oh my Venus almost gets taken out as Oheb now just goes face to face against Yaoi. But he is still on the tank emblem, so tanky, doing a decent amount of damage, especially in the early game, making the best use of that Hilda.
Well, now we got to talk about the Hilda, but before that, Sanford and Edward 1v1. Is there really going to be any big trades here? I don't think so. But on top, Oheb goes down.
Oh no, and the box wasn't even there, so this is just the pure raw power of a Hilda.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about that as well, Arashi, where a Hilda pressuring, sure, but pressuring the goal lane, how does Yaoi do this? Like, what is he really taking advantage of?
He's just taking advantage of the fact that Blacklist doesn't really want to stay and be passive in the lane, so he just stays around there and just keeps moving in and out of vision. And, you know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But the point is, he's being a disruptive force that's taking away the focus of Blacklist from the rest of the map.
Sanji
Look at that!
gets a 1v1 question mark, and there's bodies falling for Blacklist all across the map. V and Wise taken down 3 for none, 5-0 scoreboard.
5-0, 2k goal difference, and in my map, Oheb goes in against Manicutie. Will this be a good idea?
Summon Force put it underneath the turret. Oheb very low. Carl Deasy gets the kill, flanked it from the back line. Oh my Venus falls as well. LaFell, you were saying?
Now, I'm just saying right now, 7-0, 2.4. In my opinion, if you're a scaling composition, you don't want to lose more than 2,000 gold, and now it's 2.6 in the first 4 minutes.
Echo, man, they just find their power spikes, and once they felt they had an opportunity, every single member just went for the 1v1 plays all over the map, and at the same time, 3 members from Blacklist gets taken out. That is not ideal at all, and now with that pressure, Echo will be going for the neutral objective, and according to the pattern, they're going to try and take some turrets.
That's a free turtles. LaFell, that 2K threshold, can we call it the LaFell threshold? Because that's essentially what sets apart good teams when they can read that situation.
Hey, if anything can be named after me, I'm gonna take it. And now it's 3K. Looking at the items here, looking at Blacklist, the only one that has completed the item is Wise on this box set with the Radiant Armor. Is it enough, Arashi, for them to kind of negate some of the attacks coming in from Echo?
Well, they can negate some damage, especially from Harith as well as the Eve. But, I mean, Yaoi on the Hilda is still doing a massive amount of damage. And don't forget, this Dyrod, Sanford on this Dyrod, is actually one of the main counters for Wise. So the Radiant Armor will not be helping in that department.
Oh, Venus already committing the flicker. Carl Deasy gets a beat on the Queen. And Appraiser's Wrath taking down the Diggy. Second, make that third death for the Roamer.
And right now, Blacklist, they have nothing to answer. They gotta slow it down. Oheb just completed his Demon Hunter sword, and Wise tries to do it, but he can't do anything. 4 members on the Wise.
He's cornered here. 3 members make that 4 Wise. Chrono, Fissure. Oh no, there's the box. BMI out. 1 down. They're just doing damage control here. Blacklist.
Blacklist is getting corralled, getting cut off from their base, and honestly, Echo is just making the best use of this early game pressure, and they're not done just yet.
Oh, Sanford flickering on out. They catch Edward. Here comes the cavalry. Oheb with a blazing duet on out of dodge. Lightning and thunder pushing away Echo.
Right now, looking at the situation, Blacklist International, they're very comfortable of playing from behind, trying to wait it out, trying to make sure they fight at equal ground. But now, I gotta ask you, Arashi, Blacklist, realistically, what can they do to stop the bleeding?
They need to try and just prepare the crowd control, stick together. But the problem is, for Echo right now, every single member, generally the main carries, can't go for those solo kills yet again. So if they just stick together, yeah, maybe they can avoid getting killed, but then Echo will just start destroying them in the macro gameplay, in the rotations, in the vision game, and that is not ideal either.
Oh, Edward catches one. Here comes the RWM. Diggy, oh my Venus with the Time's Journey. They take out Sanford first. Where was the damage? Amazing play by Blacklist. They get a pick off, but oh, they pay the price. Down goes Oh My Venus. They're gonna collapse down onto Edward, and he goes for the split. Split is off a cooldown. Rides on to Carl Teasy. Puts him in a compromised position. Here comes Wise. Still he get his purple buff. Yaoi making space. Edward getting pulled in. Wise still here as well. Very good. He's up on force. Where's Edward going? Goes on through the wall. Suffers a death. The storm is here, and they disengage. Oh, they find Haji. Will they find him? Will they get him? Oh, RWM one more time. Sanji, this team fight's going on forever.
It's just 7 minutes, but the damage coming in from Echo is so much, and Wise, he's gonna get taken down.
Oh, Dawning Light unable to save those 2 in mid. Be Wise fall underneath tier 1.
3 members down despite the best efforts from Blacklist to try and control the damage. It's just so much burst coming in from the side of Echo, and look at that. There's nowhere to save.
They're not done. Carteasy finds him in the back line. Sanji with the Void Crystal. Pop in Oheb. And now Edward and Oh My Venus finding sanctuary underneath tier 2.
This explosiveness is controlling Blacklist International. Looking at the items right now, the Xavier only having the Clock of Destiny really won't deal out that much damage. And the Clot, 8 minutes in, only with the Demon Hunter sword. Blacklist right now in this game is looking very one-sided. Arashi and Oh My Venus has to use the ultimate to get out of the RWM.
I mean, Sanji right here with the Ice Queen's wand. Just popping that alone is enough threat for Blacklist to just react with so many skills. And on top of that, Benny Cutie is supposed to be a late game hero. He has so much damage right now.
Oh, it's a full-on engage. Haji very low. Oh, Appraiser's Wrath puts him at 1 HP. Grandma! Sanford finishes him off through the wall. Now it's Edward in the front line. Split. Yaoi cordoning off the rest of Blacklist as they go for this purple buff steal. It's calm for now, but Echo are just pummeling on through Blacklist jungle straight to the Lord.
Right now, I honestly, I gotta ask you, because Blacklist, 7,000 rolled down. Should they be getting any kind of view of getting a comeback? Who is it going to come from? Is it going to come from Haji, Oheb? Who is going to make that comeback happen?
In that sentence alone, they went up another 1,500, right?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's at 9 now almost. So I'm guessing if it's up to me and if it's something that I've seen before, given my history with Blacklist, it's got to come from Haji. So again, protect Haji at all costs and protect the map.
I have to agree with that statement, man. Haji is the one with the wave clear. Haji is the one that later on, I guess, can just do a lot of poke damage with a Dawning Light. So I think he's a big factor. And if Echo still goes with his aggressive style, he's the one with the Mystic Field that can stop a lot of this playmaking. But look at that. It's so aggressive coming in from Echo.
Oh, look at the angle that Yaoi and Carl are drawing. Concealed play by Yaoi. Disengages, pushes them away, allowing Carl to steal the orange.
Right now, Echo, they're really pushing hard because Lord is coming up top. They're pushing Blacklist away from the turrets. They're taking it one by one, almost a 10,000 goal lead. Oh my Venus, as well as Oheb, they are at half HP. They can't even handle the range, the siege coming in from Echo.
Oh, there's the RWM keeping down Oh My Venus, forcing the Time's Journey. Lord swinging away, shield popped, and the inhibitor up top, and they're still going. Sanji swiping, tapping, Edward taking care of that wave in mid. Echo disengages.
Man, that poke damage coming in from Sanji is just brutal, man. With the glowing wand right here, every instance of damage is getting buffed, and even the tankiest member, like Edward, will just start suffering from that percentage HP damage. Taking a look at the items, Oheb has the golden staff, but is it too little too late? If you compare him to Benny Cutie right now, that's a lot of true damage.
Oh no! Right underneath that inhibitor, they take down Haji, blazing the way by Oheb, but it's a little too late. They're gonna take it down. Another RWM. Yaoi very low, still gets out, has an immortality. No casualties from Echo. Blacklist can't punish.
Yeah, Blacklist can't punish because, again, a difference of like 1.5 items right now between Echo and Blacklist. Like, that is...
Per hero!
Per hero, mind you. So now, like, the deficit is like so big. Even I'm asking myself, is this really comebackable?
The gold difference is almost at 1k gold per minute, man. It is insane, the tempo that Echo is pushing onto Blacklist. And despite their best efforts, even now, the jungle is just never really a safe place. And the only time Blacklist can come out is when Echo pulls back. But even that might be a trap, because that means there's a longer distance that Echo can just run Blacklist through, right? Just chasing them all the way with the slows, with the crowd control. And it's a nightmare for Blacklist right now.
Good news, bad news. There's a push by Oheb in the bottom lane. Bad news is, as soon as Echo takes this Lord here, it's Luminous, 12 minutes past, it's going to be harder to rely on Haji. It's going to be difficult for Imam alone to be the insurance policy because they can't stay in their base alone because Echo's going to keep coming.
If anyone asks us again, like, what is a snowball? I kind of feel like this game is the definition of a snowball, taking a small lead up in the gold lane and then translate it all over the map. 11,000 gold difference. Blacklist, oh my Venus, using the Diggy is good at protecting the backline, but it's not tanky. The items as well is built on utility mage items, so he can't tank the damage. The only one that can is Wise and Edward, but at this point, it doesn't look like it's enough.
It is an Imperial Wrath Diggy, so it's supposed to actually do a lot of poke damage, but against a Hilda, against a Fredrin, it's just not enough, and now Echo make the deciding play.
Oh wow, Sanji with the Void Crystal alone forces Haji underneath the base. They're gonna force the issue here. Lord swinging away at the base. Tier 3 turrets, inhibitors in bottom, very low. Mid as well, compromised. There's a wave crashing on through. Blacklist holding on.
Right now.
There's an RWM forcing out the Time's Journey. Wise coming in. Oheb with that blazing duet. He's very low. Yaoi gets the kill. Down goes the Filipino sniper. Yaoi gets his immortality pop with a Salmon Force. Haji goes down. They're going to swing away. Oh my Venus popped here by the back line. Edward takes down Yaoi. Wise very low. Can Sanji finish the job? The answer is no. It's up to Edward now. He's down as well. It's just Wise. Echo takes game 1.
Echo starting the series off with a very decisive victory. We're looking at Grand Finals. In fact, look at Blacklist International. Even they look flabbergasted. What happened just now?
They just look absolutely confused, man. They try to go and play reactive, try and curb the aggression coming in from Echo. But with those picks, with how many late game heroes they're relying on to scale into that late game, it wasn't nearly enough. Trying to just use the Diggy and the Baxia to be an annoying factor in the early game was completely shut down by Echo off the back of that Hilda, just absorbing all the damage, and of course the Dyra just softening up that